on the E and the B. Then the left hand moves up while that hand is playing that, frets the G. Then we play a C sharp and a G with our right hand, an E with our left hand, and then another C sharp to give us an E minor 6 chord. It's one of the first ways we can use to integrate the two techniques. So, let me set up the machine, and we'll try this slowly. Try a little faster. And a little faster again. There you have three main components that I use to write the song Count Zero. I'd like to take a minute here to just talk about technique. All this tapping stuff is great. I've been fortunate in my career to have solo albums out and also working with a couple bands such as Joe Satriani where I got to use some of this technique. But I was never in a hurry just to play something for technique's sake, because the music should create the technique, not the other way around. The way I came up with a lot of these techniques was because I heard music in my head. I was working up piano music like the Moonlight Sonata. And I'd reach a point and I'd say, how can I possibly play this note? And I'd have to invent a technique of, say, using my thumb to stop notes or whatever. And that's so necessity being the mother of invention, because music is not about fast E pentatonic licks. Music is about emotions and feelings. And the reason you need to practice and play scales is so you can eliminate all the technical difficulties and go right ahead and play just, communicate what's in your heart and your soul. So don't get too caught up in technique, because remember, the worst thing you can say to a bass player is you sound like a frustrated lead guitar player. Or say you get the call to audition for Madonna, a gig that pays probably about $25,000 a week, and you show up and go, you'll be playing that stuff in the bedroom for the rest of your life. So, as I just say, let the music be the most important thing, and the technique comes second, and that way you're bound to be successful. Have you ever had the distinct pleasure of having to drive across Texas in the middle of the night? I'll actually make it a couple nights. It was during a night like this when it was 4 a.m. and there was bugs the size of B-52s landing off the windshield. It was 90 degrees. We'd been in Texas for about a day and a half, and we saw a sign that said, Amarillo, 500 miles. Well, anyway, these were all the inspirations that led me to write a song called Lone Star. For that and all my good friends in Texas. On guitar on this song, I happened to persuade a friend of mine, a man by the name of Eric Johnson, to play some guitar on it, and a good friend of mine, Steve Smith. And this was probably the strongest cut on my last album, the only of my 3 albums that I haven't plugged yet on this video, an album called The Urge on Relativity Records. This song got quite a bit of airplay, so you might have heard it before, and I thought as an ending, I would like to show you the main bass hook from this that, again, uses a lot of the techniques that we've talked about before. So the first part of the hook here, or the chorus, is the popping in thirds. In this case, the notes are going to be B and D, down to an A and C, then that down to a G and a B. You notice you do kind of slide down there on the second part. The next part of this lick uses hammer-ons using the open strings, in this case, the open G. So we're playing a B, hammering on up to the B and pulling off to the open G, then hitting a D, hammering on up to the E, pulling off the open string again, up to the A. Then we go back again to the initial lick, pulling the two notes at the same time. There comes an interesting lick. That's a little bit like the lick we did there at the end of count 0, which uses the raking across as well as some tapping pull-ons and pull-offs. We're fingering basically an F6 here, which would be an F, your C, on the next string, on the D, and on the top string with your first finger, the D. And again, you're playing the triplet. 1, 2. Then we're hammering on with our fourth finger up to the F. So the first part will be. Then we're just going to outline an F major up here, hitting the A, pulling off to the F, pulling off down to the D, hammering on up again to the F, playing an F natural, pulling off, up to the C. So we have and the last of it's quicker as a real triplet. So slowly that lick would be. Then we move up a whole step and do the same lick in the key of G. But this time we don't play the lick of it, the triplet lick, the fast at the end. We just hang on the top D there. So slowly, without the machine, the whole chorus would sound like. Again, these are probably going to be the two licks that give you the most trouble, so I'll just go over it slowly one more time. If it helps you out, stop the tape and work out each segment separately. And I advise you do this. Let's go ahead and try it really slowly with the machine, putting all these parts together in the song. Now let's speed it up a little, shall we?